Alright, I'm gonna set up Spring Project. First, you want to open in DataJ, of course. This is already a project that I set up, but we can make a new one for demonstrations. You want to just go to New and then Project. Now, over here on the left, you'll see Spring Boot. That's what we want to pick. Location doesn't really matter as long as you remember where it is, of course. You can name it whatever. Name it whatever. Group, you can just leave that default, or you can name it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. You can leave this. You can leave this. You can set it to Java 23, and you want it to be a Maven project because Maven is good. All right, jar, that's fine. All right, so this is exactly what you want. The download file can be different. It can be a different location, whatever you want to put it. Go next. All right, so these are the dependencies that we're going to need for this. For this project, you're probably going to need Spring Web, which is how we set up the web app. You're probably going to need JPA. This is for database stuff. And probably just an H2 jet database is probably the easiest to set up for your project. I think we need Thyme as well. So Thyme, we can just search for it. You can use the search bar up here. Thyme. Okay, so all these 4 dependencies, that's all we need for right now. Thyme leaf, H2 database, Spring Data GPA, Spring Web. Okay, we got those 4. Let's create. We need a new window. Doesn't really matter. All right, so you're gonna load up this. Okay, so this is what it'll generate. It'll generate this project for you. Over here on the left, you'll have your source folder, your main folder, and your Java. Now this file right here, this is what you run to start the web app, right? All right. Now, this is just a basic setup. To do more with it, you're going to need to do a few things. You start by you go to this folder right here, right above your main thing. Right click it. You can go new. You can do package. And we're going to call it controllers. Okay? Controllers. This is going to create another folder right here. And now if you right click that folder, click new, we can make a new Java class. Now what we're going to make here is a controller, which we'll just do a basic controller. You can name it whatever you want. I usually just do whatever the function of it is and then just controller afterwards. We're going to make it a class. All right, here we go. We got this. This is a basic setup so far, right? Now, what you're going to want to do to make this an actual controller. Now, the controller is very important because it tells you which, like the link in the top, it tells you where everything goes on the website and which HTML pages to load when you go to certain links on the website, right? So that might not make as much sense, but you'll see as we continue that'll make a bit more sense. All right, so if we do @controller here, for some reason it is not doing this correctly. All right, I had to restart the recording there because there's a few issues. What was happening there is that it wasn't auto completing stuff for me, and I want auto completes This is a problem with IntelliJ. Sometimes it just doesn't do what you expect it to do. It's kind of rare, but not really. But if that ever happens, you should just restart IntelliJ. I just restarted IntelliJ. I just opened Task Manager, and then I just exited out of this, and then restarted, and now I can do this. It'll autofill for me. So we want to mark this as a controller. Now what this does is that it uses it to route web traffic on it. So let's just try to make a basic one. Now we got an example of a basic one over in this project that I have, not this one here. Basically what we want to do is do this get mapping here. What does get mapping mean? It basically means when you load a web page with this URL on it, like this end of it, like, okay, let me open a new web page and we go to like google.com. Okay, see this? This slash here, that means that this is this domain right here. So if I went to like, if this was my site name, my site URL, and then just had this at the end, it would trigger this method right here. So if I changed it instead to like /maps, let's see, it would no longer, typing in this would no longer lead to this page here, to this method. It would instead, you'd have to type in maps instead, /maps. So that describes which page this handles. Now, if we go back to the other one, just go like this. Yeah. If we just do get mapping, we'll just put it to the simple slash because that's what it'll usually load when you just first load the website, right? All right, so we're going to want to do public, yeah, public string. Public string, we can just call this anything we really want. I'll just do like get home. And now you're going to have a model here. It's telling me to import class, so I just want to import it. You want to import the Spring Framework one right here. Perfect. It'll pop up here. All right. So what the model is basically you can store different variables in the model that you can use in your web page. Now, this is a method with return string. So we need to return a string. What does this string represent? This string is going to be the name of your HTML file that you want it to load when it's done doing the Java here. So we're going to want to do return. I don't have an HTML file right now. It's suggesting me to do home. We can just do that. So if we just do home like this, it's going to look for an HTML file named home. Now we don't have an HTML file named home, so we're going to have to make one. You want to put all your HTML files in this template folder. So you want to go to resources and then template. So we just right click template, new, and we just create an HTML file, or you can just move whatever existing HTML files you have to here. Let me just name it the same as what we're returning here. We'll just name it the same thing. Otherwise, we just have to change this name to whatever we name this because we're trying to load this page, right? All right, so we just loaded up a simple page. We'll just write some stuff on it. This is a test. How about that? Just to know that it works, right? Now, we want to go back here. We can also show what the model is. So if we want to like do something in Java, like, you know, do some stacks and queues and stuff and like math and stuff, we can do that. And then we can just set it to a variable on the model. So if we go model, add attributes, we can just do like, it's auto suggesting this stuff. So the first string here is going to be the name of the attribute. So think of when you're making a regular variable, something like this, you just make a string. This is going to be your name of your variable. That's exactly what this is. This is the name of your variable. And this is the value of your variable. It's this right here. And this can be pretty much anything, any object. It can be a string, which is an object. It can be a custom object you make. It can be basically anything. We'll just do like, you know, a string. This is working, something like that. We don't need this string here. All right, now we are pretty much ready to load our initial web page. It doesn't really take much more than that because we just have a simple HTML page, but we want to do one more thing before we do that. We need to make this HTML page a thime leaf. That's where the thime leaf dependency comes in from before. So to make it into a thime leaf is pretty simple. I got this example over here. You just got to put this line into it. Just put this line into it, and then it'll just work. You just put this right here. And there you go. It's a thime leaf. I'm not too familiar with thime. I don't use thime too much, but thime is usually pretty easy to do. You can do a bunch of stuff with it like this. What do I want to do? I should just do like div. And put a div here, and then we can just do like th text. Yeah, that's the one. And then now we can put in here the attribute, the name of the variable of the attribute, so title. We can put that here. Now, this should just replace this div or put text in this div that is equal to this text right here, right? All right, now that we got this initially set up, we can just run the program. So you can either go up here to the top right and press run, or you can go to this file and run it here, but it doesn't matter. Either way will work. So we're just going to press run. This is running. See, it's going to load up. It loads up pretty fast. All right, so this is loaded now. Now what you're going to want to do, this means your website is on, or at least it's on localhost. So we're going to bring up our web page, and we're going to want to do localhost 8080. Now, localhost 8080 is the default URL that it'll load to. So usually it'll be set up this way. So we're going to want to go to just the slash, right? Because we mapped our page to slash. So if we load that, there we go. We loaded our page, just simple HTML. It looks like the title's not quite working. I'm going to have to check that out real quick. Give me a second. All right, I figured out what the issue is. I was just being dumb. If you look back at my examples here, when you want to use a variable, you want to do this. So this is an authors variable that I have on this one, but you need to surround it in the $, curly bracket, curly bracket. All right. So instead of just title, we got to do $, curly bracket, and then the variable. There we go. Now this should work. This text right here, TH, that stands for Thyme, of course. And then this just put this colon here and then text. It just means that we're going to be displaying a text variable. Then we put the text variable in here. You can read up on all the different things on Thyme. That'll probably be helpful for displaying information in your HTML from your Java controller, but yeah. Now we're going to restart. You just simply restart it, it'll keep all your changes once you restart. You just press restart and then, all right, that is restarted. Now, if we go back to our web page, we just refresh it. It should work. There you go. Instead of the just title, it just says this is working, which is our variable, the value of our variable. So you can do all sorts of stuff in here. You can do, in my example one here, we have authors, which is, if we go to authors, this one I actually have an array of a few authors, right? I passed it in array. So this is actually an array. It's not like a string or anything. And the way we can use that is kind of cool. We can do, instead of text, we do each on a thing, tower row. And we can just do this where we have the array. This is the array here. And then this is like the advanced for loop that I was like talking about before. This is the name of the variable in your loop. So think of this as a loop, this element here. This is the array that you want to loop over and get all the elements for. And this author variable is just what each one is stored when you go through the loop. So every single time, so let's say you got 3 authors, and every single time you want to get the author's ID, you want to get his first name, and you want to get his last name. And it'll keep repeating until it's done the entire authors array. So you can do cool stuff with Thyme and data manipulation with the controller. You can do a bunch of stuff in the controller, and that's just the basic way, and you can do a ton of different stuff with that. Last thing, I just want to show that you can change the mapping on it. Like if we change it to test and we restart, go back to our web page, it's fully restarted. If we load this page again, it shouldn't load anything because we have no mapping to it. There we go, we got an error. This is because we changed the mapping. It's not on slash anymore, it's on /test. So we go to /test, we're back to our page. So you can do that. You can put multiple git mappings. You can just do this and then just do another one with like a slash instead, or like any other link. You can do it all in the same controller, but I would suggest making different controllers for like different stuff. Like this could be like your homepage one, and then it has different links for it. But then if you got a different page, you might want to make a different controller for it. And then you just set it up the same way as this if you want to make a new controller. So yeah, that's about all for the simple setup. Hope it helps.